All right, we are on Lesson 1, Interpreting Division of a Fraction by a Whole Number, Visual Models. This is our exit ticket, which we always want to start on because it should correlate exactly with what we did in class. So today we have write an equivalent multiplication expression. So right away I know I need to do times, and I know it's got to be equivalent or the same as the division problem. Then find the quotient, which means the answer to a division problem in its simplest form. So I need to reduce. That's important because sometimes they will ask, we can leave it unreduced, and sometimes they want it in simplest form. So in this case, if we're paying attention to details, they want us to put it in simplest form. We also need to use a model. That can be a number line, that can be a tape diagram. Sometimes if we have word problems, that can just be pictures. Lots of ways to do models to support your response. All right, so if we're looking at number 1, we have 1/4 divided into 2 pieces. So they want us to write the equivalent multiplication expression from that. Sometimes I find that if I make the model first, then I can see what the multiplication problem is. So I'm going to start with the model. So what I have here is 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and use a number line for my diagram in this case. So if this is 0 and this is 1 whole, and I need 1/4, I know that I need 4 total pieces. That part to whole is still in play. So here's my 4 total pieces. I need what part of it? 1. So here's my 1/4. 1 out of the 4 pieces. Now what I need to do with this piece right here is I need to divide it or split it or break it or cut it into 2 pieces. So if I cut this into 2 pieces, now I need to know how much, what size is this? There are several ways to figure out what size that would be. One way that I think of is, well, I have 2 pieces here, so what's the equivalent fraction if I have 2 wholes right here? What did I do to one, not 2 wholes, I'm sorry, 2 pieces, 2 parts. So if I have 1 times 2, well, 4 times 2, that same process that we've learned in the beginning of the year to find those equivalent fractions. 4 times 2 would be 8. So that means that this is 2/8. So if I want to know how big one piece is, that means it would have to be 1/8. Another way to do it is to cut all of them in half, so all these fourths in half, so we have equal pieces, and then we can count how many total pieces we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 out of 8 pieces down here. These big lines are 4 out of 4. So again, if these are 8 pieces, what part of the eighths do I have? I have 1 out of the 8th. So let's think about what our multiplication problem would be. So we know that our quotient is 1/8. So we found the quotient, the answer to the division problem. We need to write the equivalent multiplication expression. So what I would look here is, how big was my group? Well, the group that I had was 1/4. So that goes here because I need a part of 1/4 equals. That's what multiplication statement is. It is the size or the amount of a group of, and then this is whatever size I'm working with. So in this case, what I have is 1/4. What I need is half of 1/4, or 1 out of the 2 pieces. So 1/2 of a group of 1/4 would also equal 1/8. So here's my group. That's where I get this second number. Comes from right here. And we want to keep looking at the relationship of this number and this number, how they get connected. I know that it's 1 out of 2 pieces because what part of this whole group did I need? 1 out of the 2 pieces. Try number 2 on your own and see if you can kind of do the same process, and then check back to see if you got the answer correct. If you did not, go ahead and follow along with me. So again, I'm going to do my model first to kind of see what this would equal. So I know that the group I'm working with is 2/3. So this time I'm going to try a tape diagram just so we can set it up a little differently and have lots of different strategies. So what I need is thirds, so I'm going to break this into thirds here. So this is 1/3, this is 2/3, this would be my whole 3/3. I'm only dealing with this section right here. This is the size of the group that I have. What I need to do is divide it or split it into 6 equal pieces. So if I'm going to break this into 6 equal pieces, that means I need 3 in each section. So I'm going to go ahead and break that here, here, here. And what I need to know is what size is this, because I need to know if I break it into 6 pieces, how big is one piece? Okay, so again, I need to know what section of the whole this is. So here's my thirds. I broke these all into 3 equal pieces, so I also need to break this one into 3 equal pieces so that I can tell that the size of these pieces are 9ths, and then I need 1 out of the 9. So my quotient would be 1/9 here. Now I need to make sure that I write the equivalent multiplication expression. So again, I kind of have my template here. I need some amount of a group of, and what I started with was 2/3. So I know my 2/3 is here, and then what size of that group did I need? I needed 1 out of the 6 pieces that were here in the 2/3. So this would be 1 out of 6. I need 1/6 of a group of 2/3. Again, notice that here's my 2/3. Look what's happening to my 6 here, going here. Let's see what happened up here. 2 is over here. Maybe you're starting to see some patterns or some ways to make this a little easier. So again, 1/6 times 2/3, we know how to multiply fractions. Easy peasy. 1 times 2 is 2. 6 times 3 is 18. But remember, it said in simplest form. So 2/18 are both even, which means I need to divide them both by 2. Again, whatever I do to the top, I need to do the bottom to keep them the same as each other. So 2/18 would be the same as 1/9, which is exactly what I got right there. Then I would go back to make sure that I answered all parts of the questions. Did I write an equivalent multiplication expression? Yes, yes. Did I find the quotient in simplest form? 1, anytime you have a numerator of 1, it's in simplest form, and I do, so yes. Did I use a model to support my response? Yes, yes. So I checked off all 3 items that I needed to do on this exit ticket. So let's take a look at our problem set now. So on our problem set, it says find the value of each of the following in its simplest form. Whenever they say find the value, they want us to solve or answer these questions. So for here, I have 1/3 divided into 4. Now at this part, you can use models to find your answer. If you know the shortcut and understand it from looking at what these equivalent multiplication problems would be, and that's easier for you, you could do that. As long as you show what work you did here. So I'm going to continue to use the models and show you the multiplication steps as well. So if I have 1/3, let's do a number line here. I have 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 0. I needed it divided into 4 pieces. And so I need to know what size this is. So if I'm thinking I have 4 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4 down here, I would break all of these into fourths. So that means I have 4, 8, 12 pieces. So that means my answer is 1/12, 1 out of 12 pieces. The equivalent multiplication problem that you could have done would have been, what size is my group? 1/3. How much of the group do you need? I need 1/4 of this group right here, 1 out of 4 pieces. So if I do 1/4, and then I have easy peasy, 1 times 1 is 1, 4 times 3 is 12. All right, let's try the next one. 2/5 divided into 4 pieces. So let's do a tape diagram. We need 5 pieces here because that's our total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What part I'm looking at is 2/5, so right here. I need to take this 2/5 and divide it into 4 pieces. So if I break it into 4 here, now I need to know how big is this piece right here. So if I have 4 pieces down here that are equal to 2, I can kind of set it up like this. 2 is equal to 4, so what did I do? 2 times 2 is 4. 5 times 2 would be 10. So that tells me that there would be, this would be 1/10, because this is 4/10. So then these are tenths, so that would be 1/10 here. Then I just want to make sure that that's right. So what I did is I split each of these fifths into 2 pieces. So if I split each of these into 2 more pieces, how many total pieces do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That works as well. That's 1 out of 10 pieces. Sorry, you can't see that. My equivalent multiplication statement here, my group, what I have is 2/5. The amount that I need out of that group, so here's my 2/5, is 1 out of the 4 pieces. So 1/4. 1 times 2 is 2. 4 times 5 is 20. But I need simplest form. They're both even. Divide by 2. I get 1/10 as well. So sometimes you might want to try this multiplication first and get an answer, and then prove it by showing your model by doing these steps so that you make sure that you're on the right track. So let's try C over here. We have 4/7 divided into fourths. So for this one, I'm going to, again, try a diagram here. I might want to switch to a number line. I'm not sure yet. So I have sevenths. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the 4/7 that I'm dealing with. I need to take the 4/7 and divide them into 4 pieces. Well, they're already broken into 4 pieces, so I really just need one of those pieces, which would be 1/7. So I think it's going to be 1/7. If I try the multiplication problem, what I have is 4/7. How much I need of it is 1 out of 4 pieces. So I need 1/4 of the group of 4/7. If I do 1 times 4 is 4. 4 times 7 is 28. I need to reduce it to simplest form. Divide them both by 4. This is when we're glad we know our basic facts. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 28 divided by 4 is 7. So 1/7, 1/7. That made that one pretty easy. So that was good that I was able to use that diagram. All right, this video is going to run out. If you are good to go after these 3, go ahead and try 2ABC, 3ABC. And then 6 and 7 are going to be bonus problems today. So if you, I want you to get through 5 at least. If 6 or 7, attempt, show me something that you tried, but do not spend too much time on the bonus unless you really want to be able to figure those out. All right, if you need the second video, go ahead and go to the second video.